Hello friends, so I'm going to run a few experiments today to see if I can show you a few different ways to do a simplified version of marbling at home. So I'm going to experiment with shaving foam and on plain water, and I'm going to be using some cheap acrylics. I mean, I think this was like £1 off of Amazon. I'm not sure where this one came from. This is Reeves acrylic, and we've got some Pabeo acrylic, and I've got some System 3. Okay, let's see what happens with the shaving foam. I know it's possible to do it. Personally, I've never done it before. But I'm keen to try, because I want to do it with my own kids. Okay, so I am going to flatten it down so it has a smooth-ish surface. I've already got paper cut to size. If you've watched the previous videos, you see that they were done on water with the acrylics and the powder paint. So I'm going to try acrylic on the foam. Now, if you haven't watched the previous videos, I've been using System 3 acrylic simply because that's what I happen to have in the studio. Now, I don't normally work with acrylic. I normally work with specially prepared powdered paint, and it takes me about 2 months to prepare my paint with box gall. Actually, I need to show it this way, don't I? Because the video is going to be that way around. So today I'm experimenting with these acrylics. Got Reeves grass green and System 3. I've got yellow, red. Oh, and I'm also trying this Pabeo high viscosity acrylic. So what I've done is I've put tiny amounts in the jar, just a tiny amount of the acrylic paint, and then watered it down slightly so that it will disperse on the water. But on the foam, I have a feeling we might need to water it down more. So I've watered down the red, and I'm going to try flicking that on the foam. And you can probably try putting it on with a stylus as well. This is a plastic hair roller pin, or you could just use the end of a plastic brush. Let's try that. So I'm giving the paint a stir. So you could do that, putting it on drop by drop. So that's going to take a bit longer. Or if you've got a brush, you need a little bit of length on your brush so that it will flick. Flick that across, or you could try using, if you have one of these, a pipette. So I've just loaded that up. Disperse that drop by drop. That certainly speeds it up, and it probably won't be as messy as trying to use the flick brush. So I'm quite experienced with flicking paint because I do it with my normal marbling techniques. So it depends how much patience you've got with your kids, how keen you are on clearing up afterwards. I mean, these are all water-based acrylics, so they're pretty easy to clear up. You can use food dye as well. So now let's try the yellow. I've definitely flicked that all over me. That's a slightly different brush, so it didn't flick quite as well. I'm going to try the pipette. So this might come out a bit orangey because I had red in it beforehand. Yeah, using a pipette is probably the easiest way if you've got one of those. Or you can just order them online. Okay. So now with the stylus, you can start working your pattern. So if you've ever done cake decorating, pretty much the same. Now we're going to see how that looks on paper. So we're going to drop the paper on, then just press it down, because unlike my normal marbling, which is done on thickened water, the physics of it, when you lay the paper on it, it binds immediately. But because there's naturally going to be air in this, I'm pressing it down to get rid of any pockets so that we get full contact with the paint. I'm going to hook up one edge, peel it off. Oh, that looks good enough to eat. So now I've got a little bit of angle bead with a smooth edge. I mean, you could use a ruler or something. Now I'm going to use that to scrape the excess off. I'm just going to lay that on here while I see if you're still in focus. Here you are. Now let's see how much of the paint actually stays on the paper. Pretty good amount actually. That's not a bad first attempt, is it? So, I mean, if you've got primary colours at home, primary colour acrylics, you can obviously make all the secondary colours, so you can make yourself green and purple and orange. I mean, I've definitely got orange here where I mixed the red and the yellow in the pipette, so you can see it's got orange here. So I think that's a pretty good start. Now I'm not going to clean that off. I'm going to try adding some green. So this is the grass green Reeves acrylic. The paints that were already on there are the System 3, but this should work with any acrylic or any paints. I mean, you could try it with your watered down poster powder paints. I mean, this seems like the most straightforward way to start printmaking, marbling kind of effects. Using a pipette is definitely the easiest way to get the paint on there. And if you've got a bigger tray as well, I mean, I quite often work on a A4 paper cartridge tray, but I thought I would demonstrate on something you're most likely to have at home. I mean, everyone's going to have some kind of small plastic container, I was thinking. I'm going to see what happens if you just keep adding. So I'm trying to make a circle. Yeah, so you can make spirals. See how that's going to look on paper. So if your kids are anything like mine, I'm pretty sure they're going to enjoy doing this, but what's almost certain to happen is that the first opportunity they'll try and smear this all over me, probably try and push it in my face. I'll have to see if I can beat them to it. Oh yeah, look, the spiral stayed. That's pretty cool. Well, give that a go at home with your shaving foam and whatever colours you've got. I'd love to see what you come up with. Have fun. I mean, it seems like the paint sticks around, it doesn't dissolve into the foam. Because it's really thick foam, it does hang on there for quite a while. So it seems like you can take quite a few prints from a reasonably small amount of paint actually. So it's quite efficient. So I'm going to keep taking prints till the paint disappears, just to see how far you can make it go. My scraper. Oh, and the kids are going to love these. If you've got a piece of this angle, look, it makes these little worms come through. They're going to love that. Oh yeah, look at the squidge factor. Oh, my kids would spend an hour just doing that for sure. I've just had an idea. I'm going to fill this up to the top. So I want to see what happens if I make a tool like a small comb, similar to what I would normally use. If you've seen any of my other videos, or you've been in the studio and seen me demonstrate or come in and had a go yourself, then you've probably seen me using this kind of tool. But this is made with needles, so it's a bit sharp, so you don't really want that with young kids. So I made this kind of thing, which I normally use on my bigger tray with kids. And I got my daughter to make her own one. And so I thought I'll make a small one out of this and we'll see how that works on the phone. So all we use is these plastic hair roller pins. I think we ordered these off Amazon. You can get from eBay as well, probably. So this angle bead, I'll just cut that down. So it happens if you poke them through, they hold in place. It's almost like they were made for the job. So marbling artists get used to coming up with ingenious ways of creating different tools. To get different effects. So I'm going to see whether this is going to work on here. So I'll add the colour. So you're going to come on this experiment with me. Colour on, and I'm going to flick the red. And like I said, I don't use acrylics a lot, so this just happens to be the acrylics that I have, but it should work with any colour. And I get the feeling with foam that you could pretty much put any kind of colour on. So if you've got watercolours, poster paints, and then just try watering them down, change the viscosity of your paint. So like my yellow's quite thick, so that's not flicking terribly well. I'm not going to put much of that on. And then just try different tools to make your shape, because I'm going to use this tool that I've just created. And I'm going to use it that way, so I'm going to make lines this way first, and then we're going to see if this is going to create a comb effect. Yeah, check that out. I think Rudyard Kipling would love to have that pattern on the top of one of his cakes. Rudyard Kipling? Is it Rudyard Kipling? That's an author, isn't it? Rudyard Kipling's Cakes. Yeah, he was an author come cake maker. Rudyard Kipling's Cakes. Is Rudyard Kipling and Kipling's Cake, have they got anything to do with each other? Can someone Google that for me? Mr. Kipling's Cakes. I'm excited about this one. I mean, it looks like a complete mess at the moment, but I'm hoping when I scrape it off, which way shall I scrape it? The floor in my plan, the thing that I was going to scrape it with is also the tool that I've just used. I'll use this lid. Anything with a rounded edge. You don't want to use anything with too sharp an edge, I would have thought. Sharp enough to scrape the paint off, but not so sharp that it completely destroys it. I'll tell you what, that isn't bad. You can see there is a comb effect pattern in there. I mean, I don't think I'd be using this as end papers for a restored book, but I think for doing arts and crafts with your kids at home, I think this is going to work really well, because you could cut these out, like if you cut that out in a heart shape, you could use that to make cards and decorations and things. Give it a go, let me know how you get on. Have fun! So I'll take this last print. I'm going to give it a bit more of a and then I'll scrape that off with myself. That's right, James Mouland, Turkish Ebru. That's what I'm normally doing, and I normally sell scarves and cards and originals and prints and all sorts. But like you, I'm on a full lockdown. Well, I hope you liked that basics of marbling compilation. So there's probably 3 videos in a series now, is there? I did the watercolour, powdered paint, the acrylics and the shaving foam. Now, if your kids are anything like mine, they would love nothing more than to see my face covered in shaving foam. Now, please like, share, subscribe, tell everyone about James Mouland Ebru Studio, and when the lockdown's over, please come along and show us your love. I need your support.